If Manchester United are seen to be struggling financially and not have a lot of money to spend this summer transfer window, how the hell does the new ownership, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Ineos, get the money together and actually improve this football squad? I'm going to talk into the reports this morning in this live show here on FUTV United TV as to how that is going to happen, what Manchester United are going to do, how they're going to raise the money, how they're going to balance financial fair play and PSR as well. All of the hurdles that are in the way of Manchester United because of the underperforming off the pitch and on the pitch alike. There is a way around it. So Jim Ratcliffe's impatience for Manchester United moving forward is a big driver behind this right now. We're going into reports from The Athletic, from Laurie Whitwell, and what he has said and how Sir Jim Ratcliffe's impatience in building Manchester United is going to play a big factor and be key in Manchester United's coming transfer windows. Maybe not so much January, but like we spoke yesterday, if you didn't watch that video, please do check out the other content on the channel as well, because we do lead up to other shows previously to the one we're doing right now by talking about what's happening behind the scenes, and there are elements of what we talked about yesterday that are in this morning show as to why Manchester United will still be spending quite a substantial amount of money this summer. There is an extra special show coming out later on today as well on this from me, something a little bit different, so make sure that you watch that as well, everyone. But we are live. Welcome to the live chat, everybody. Get your comments in. It is Saturday morning. There is that whole feel-good factor of match day around right now. I can feel it as we woke up this morning. It is Everton tomorrow, obviously, for Manchester United. A big day of football, especially tomorrow. Merseyside against Manchester. Obviously, Liverpool City later on. We're playing Everton early doors. So just to keep you up to date with what's happening tomorrow, we have got the game, obviously. We'll have the build-up to the game, all of the match-day stuff, the reaction from me and the fans outside. Then we'll be back later on. After that City and Liverpool game, me and Jay will be live in the breakdown show with a special as well. There is loads of content coming tomorrow, so make sure that you're tuned into all of that. But for now and today and this morning, the 30th of November, the last day of the month before we officially hit Christmas time. It is when you get into December, Christmas, isn't it? And that busy fixture list, which is coming Manchester United's way. We're talking to Jim Ratcliffe's plan and how he sees Manchester United raising funds. Look, aside from the protests that are happening tomorrow about ticket prices going up and things like that, there has to be another way for Manchester United to raise money. Ticket price hikes alone, which are ridiculous, are not going to cover the gap between what Manchester United want to spend and what they've actually got to spend. We've seen the figures that were released the other day, the figures that said Manchester United still owed near 400 million in transfer fees for other players that are still in this squad. They still haven't paid all their instalments. Countering that with 94 million that's still got to come into Manchester United, there is a big gap, and somewhere around 315 million pound in general net in terms of transfer fees owes kind of shows you how poor Manchester United were run before. So how do we get around to spending money this summer? How do we bring in the players that we're linked to? There is a big piece in a few of the publications from yesterday and some in today's as well about Gyökeres and that relationship he's got with Ruben Amorim, our head coach here at United, and he would jump at the opportunity. In fact, Damasio, the Italian journalist who is obviously quite in the know and big, as we've talked about many a times in transfer windows before in different shows, he has been talking about the opportunity. If Gyökeres has the chance to go to Manchester United, he will go. So how do you raise that money? Because that's reportedly around 70 million. The release clause in Gyökeres' contract is about 100 million. I will talk about that later on in a special show as well and how Manchester United manage it. But also in the report that Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic put out from yesterday was how Sir Jim Ratcliffe's impatience is going to drive Manchester United forward, and he's going to give Manchester United that and Ruben Amorim that backing that he needs in the summer. We know this. Now, you may remember yesterday when we were talking about the Saudi connection, Manchester United trying to build relationships up. Think way back, actually, to when Murto was on them Saudi trips. Remember, I think it was last summer, maybe the summer before, how he was trying to build relationships up for possibly selling players on at bigger prices, trying to expand their market, basically, when they want to get rid of players because they're so inept at selling players and buying players back in the day. But them relationships have been built, well, not built, but they're being formed, and this is what we're hearing right now. Manchester United's players that we feel are going to be leaving in the summer, we know we're not going to get much money for them. I mean, for instance, how much money are Manchester United going to be able to get for Antony? How much are we going to be able to get for Casemiro? Casemiro, obviously, quality not being an issue, but age and wages being a big issue. Antony, wages and quality. Age, not so much so. 24, obviously, you still feel like you've got a chance of selling a player on at that. And maybe he does perform at this new wing-back, in this new wing-back position for Ruben Amorim over this next few months for Manchester United. Maybe he doesn't. We will see. But hopefully we can sort of raise a little bit of... hopefully we can raise a little bit of money from Antony and actually get a little bit back in the transfer window. But it doesn't look like Antony's going to be going anywhere in Europe. And then relationships in the Saudi Pro League are going to be vital for Manchester United. That is seen where we are going to try and push the likes of Casemiro and Antony. Whether or not Antony's going to want to go there is a different matter. Obviously, 24, like I said, he's still... I would say he would still feel like he has got a bit more to offer at the top level. Younger players... You don't usually get loads of younger players going over to Saudi. And if they are going over now, there is a quota that they can actually have. And there is a certain amount of players that they can have from overseas in that league. And that has been pretty much stacked over the last few years. So when a player comes on the market or a player goes over to Saudi, it has to be a quality player. So realistically, the pressure again then goes back to Ruben Amorim and getting something out of Antony from now until the end of the season, just to raise awareness of this player, that he has still got something and he can do a job for another club to try and sell him on. But the link is with Saudi, and that's where Antony and both Casemiro are being pushed right now, and I feel like that is the only option that United have got in terms of making any money from these players. Yes, we can save a ton of money, well over $1 billion, well over half $500 million a year in wages. Not $500 million, sorry, I said that completely wrong. I'm on the wrong zeros. So weekly, we're saving over $500,000 a week on wages for Casemiro and Antony. When you equate that into how much that is over a year, it's quite substantial, and obviously will help bring down financial fair play and PSR concerns for the next year, because we are going to have to be spending a lot. No one is going to be on big wages going forward under Ineos. I think they've stopped that. Two of the biggest earners at the football club in Antony and Casemiro are looked to be moved on, which is going to save Manchester United upwards of $30 million a year in wages, which is staggering. It really is. And if they can get a transfer fee for them, is seen that Saudi will be the only option. I don't see them moving anywhere else. You could probably say they could move back to their hometown, Brazil, or go back there, but you know we're not going to get any money for them if they go there. And that ultimately is the problem. But Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be brutal. In this report that Laurie Whitwell has said, them two players alone are the ones that you would obviously look at as to leaving. But when it comes to being brutal, when it comes to being cutthroat and needing to bring money in to actually get more players into Manchester United for Ruben Amorim, it has to be the likes of Marcus Rashford. I think him, personally, the four players that I see, and I'm not saying that these are the ones that I would personally just get rid of, but the ones looking at the situation, if you're going to be honest and say, look, who do we want to get rid of? Who do we want to bring in a younger generation of player to come through into Manchester United? Who are the players that you would be looking to move on in the summer? There are four that stand out. The two that we just spoke about in Casemiro and Antony. And then obviously you've got Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes as well. Now, I can't see Bruno leaving. I think he'll still be here next season. But if Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants to rebuild, if Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants to move Manchester United forward quickly, there are only a few players in this squad that he will be able to sell. Let's be honest. We're not selling Kobe Mainoo, Garnacho, Ahmad, any of the players that we bought this summer that are doing well right now. I don't see Mason Mount leaving, only 2 years in, unless something drastically goes wrong on the Ruben Amorim, but it doesn't look like it's going to, going off the start he's had, and now he's taken to this new system. I can't see anyone else in that squad. If you've got anyone else that you feel that Manchester United might sell in this squad, apart from them four players right now, because we're not going to get any money from Maguire, we're not going to get anything for Eriksen, we're not going to get anything for Evans or Lindelof. They're all going on a free. And as much money as we save in wages through getting rid of them players, which is great, and if you manage to get rid of a couple of other big earners gone, Manchester United's PSR and financial fair play concerns do drop off quite significantly in terms of wages. And this is where Ineos, first of all, are trying to hit Manchester United's balance sheets with the wages, and it is big. But if we are also going to spend we need to obviously bring another player in on another wage. So therefore, transfer fees come into it. Do get into the chat and let me know what you think in terms of players that you feel would substantially bring any money in for Manchester United. Let me know if there's anyone that you feel like they could sell, apart from them 4. Because we've got the other 4 that are going on a free. They're the 4 that I feel we could get a little bit of money for. That's it. I don't see anything else. And I'm saying that just simply because I don't see United selling Garnacho, Ahmad, Mainu, Højlund. I don't see it. You could possibly get something for Xerxes if he completely falls off. But do please get your comments in on players that you feel would definitely bring money in for Manchester United. I feel I've got a chance of leaving Manchester United. Let me know what you think on that. But the obvious ones, first of all, Marcus Rashford. He has to be looked at as a player United need to move on. If we're going to move forward, for obvious reasons, on the pitch, he's not performing. He's lost his way in football completely. Everyone's writing the same stories and talking about him the same way in every single show at the moment. We don't even need to go there. Let's just make this purely about financials. He's still 27. He's still got a little something to give. He's not obviously going to cost. He's not cost United anything. He would be 100% profit with the homegrown talent rule. So PSR again. If you're going to be brutal, if you're going to be the man that's going to take Manchester United forward and make significant changes to your playing staff and want to improve, then you need to sell Marcus Rashford. He is top of the list. Casemiro and Antony for obvious reasons, but you're going to scrape together barely 30-40 million for Antony and Casemiro together. You are. That's the reality. You're really pushing it to get that. I think 30 million for Antony and Casemiro, I think that's where you're at. I really do. Saudi, you may be able to push for 40, but I would say for Casemiro, 15 million at the age he is, you've got to take that money. He's had 3 years at the football club. Thank you. He's gone through, 2/3 of his contract pretty much there. Bringing 15 million back in. You're near enough in terms of football finance, balancing your sheets a little bit there with Casemiro. But that wage off the wage bill is substantial as well. Antony, at his age, if he has an alright season right now, what's he worth? 20 million? I reckon 30 to 35 million is what you're getting for Antony and Casemiro. You're going to make as much of that in savings in wages with both of them players gone. Then if you add another... See, it's them 4 players for Manchester United. Say, for instance, this was a monumental summer coming up. And this is so far away from reality. I know. I'm just saying, for instance, an example of this. If you wanted to make a statement, you have just announced that ticket prices have more than doubled for members to go to a game. You've not consulted the fans. You've just dropped this bombshell on us, and you need to counteract this by saying there will be other cuts. It's not just the fans that are going to suffer in their pockets. The only way for me as a fan that you counteract that as an ownership to say, look, everybody's suffering. Sir Alex Ferguson has got the amount of staff that have been cut from, the amount of expenses that have been taken away. Everybody's suffering in their own way. The fans are paying more. You get rid of Rashford, you get rid of Bruno, you get rid of Casemiro, you get rid of Antony. You clear off over £1 million in wages a week. Well over £1 million worth of wages a week in them 4 players. Would United be any worse off in sending them 4 players on their way, getting, I reckon, just over 100 million in fees for all 4 of them players, and £1 million a week gone in wages? That would be the most significant summer statement window that you could ever have. And that is the only way I see Ineos convincing Manchester United fans that they are looking at this in all different aspects. It's not just taking money from the fans again. There's only certain things that they can do right now with what squad we've got. Look, the best players in this team are the ones that we've just brought in, or the ones that are just signing new contracts. They're all young, it's brilliant, that's where we need to be. There is no other value in this squad. You're scraping together in them 4 players there, and I feel like that there, when you balance that out, and it's quite significant in terms of wages. If you, for instance, got rid of them 4, and then the other 4 and the wages that they're on, which is Eriksen, Lindelof, Evans and Maguire, my God, you are talking there. You are talking nearly £2 million a week. I would say a minimum, I think, just off the top of my head, trying to balance that out and work out what these players are on, at least £1.5 million a week in wages. Equate that into an annual figure. That is monumental. That is ridiculous in what Manchester United can save there in wages. That would be sending a message to the fan base for me. That would be Ineos saying, it's not just you who are suffering. If we're going to make these brutal changes to take United to the top because of what's happened before, we're all in this together, we're all suffering. Obviously, if they're going to be lining their pockets, but let's not forget, they've also invested billions themselves into this project. And ultimately, in the end, if we have got them 8 first-team players gone this summer, the wages that have gone with them, maybe just bringing in, just over 100 million, you could probably scrape together, maybe a bit more, I'd say, maybe 100 to 130 million for them 4 players. You've got rid of the other 4 as well on a free. That's 8 players of the first-team squad gone, and then you want to reinvest. I know it's a bar outcry and it's a big shout, I know that, but I'm just saying the possibilities that they've got to get money now this summer, because past this summer, you're not really going to get anything more for Marcus Rashford at this point. Casemiro, forget it. Antony, got no idea. Bruno Fernandes will be 31, near enough. Everything drops down again, and there's no more value. I don't see them in their structure and what they want to do selling any of the younger players who are really worth anything. And where else does the money come from? Well, you've got the Champions League and getting back up there. But I think this summer is the last summer where you have to fully commit to saying, look, this is the max we can get out of these players now in the transfer window if we sell them. Are they going to help us get to the Champions League and stay there consistently? The answer to that is clearly no, because they haven't done it before. None of them have been consistent performers to say that you would keep them in your side and they're going to be the ones that get you to the Champions League every single year. That's the reality as I see it. And if this is true from what The Athletic is saying, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe is going to be more cutthroat in his transfers and his dealings, obviously they're a year in by the time this next transfer window comes around. So when you look at it, you would say, look, they can now plan out a window properly. There are definite ways around this for them. They can look into the possibilities of selling big players on as well. Look, at the end of the day, Manchester United can be this sentimental FC if they want going forwards. Like I said, I don't think Bruno will go personally this summer. I think he's probably the one out of them 4 players that would stay, and the fans would probably not mind him staying. I know a lot of fans, and there's a few on our channel that would say just get rid of him now, cash in. If you're going to make these big changes, this is the last chance you've got. A lot of people thought that it was the last chance for Bruno last summer, and that was the best chance for him to go. They're giving him this new contract now, and now that's it. He's moving on. He's not going to be able to move on, sorry. So, yeah, I can see both sides of the argument, really. But what it does come down to is how ambitious is Sir Jim Ratcliffe? Does he really want to make these big changes? Does he care about egos? Does he care about these players, what they have, what the affiliation with the fans and the club is and everything like that? He's been brutal with everything else. I think it's about time we've seen something happen with the playing staff. There has to be significant names that have gone out with this football club this summer. Otherwise, I think he is going to lose the confidence of the fan base. You cannot keep upping prices. You cannot keep certain players. You cannot keep the brand of football. Put this structure in place and expect things to get better. Significant moves need to be made this summer, and significant moves need to be made with big players. Otherwise, it's not happening. It's not happening. And we'll be stuck still trying to figure out a way of getting these players in while other players are trying to make their way into Manchester United's side, or we're trying to make the right transfer to bring a player in. They're still going to be in the way a little bit. And I think this summer's the last chance that he's got to actually make a big move for Manchester United, or anything significant anyway. And we have got a good academy players coming through as well. I'm going to get into the chat now as well. So please get your messages in. Please give me all of your thoughts on this. Players who you think would leave. Is there anyone else in this squad that you think has got money in them? Something we could actually make from. How much are we going to save from the wages? And yeah, let's get into the comment section. Because Rashford's wages, you are looking at 40 million max. I'd take 30 million for Rashford right now and get rid of him personally. Rashford, Bruno, Dalot, Malacia, Xerxes, Casemiro, Anthony, Maguire, Lindelof, Evans. Get rid of them and have a real reset. Would that be convincing? Look, we're always complaining about certain things, but if they did have a summer like this, would you be convinced Tell me what you would be convinced by that you're not going to come back on. That's a clear sign that they are moving in a different direction. What is that? What is that type of summer for you? Get into the comments as well. Please give the video a like, everybody. We're creeping up to that 100 like mark. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel as well. We just passed over 63,000 subscribers yesterday. Thank you so much. We are on the road to 70k. It is our target to try and get as close to 70k before the new year as well. So if you are just tuning in for the first time, you're not a subscriber, first of all, do it because you can get into the chat and talk to everyone in there. We are the best community out there for Manchester United channels. I know that for certain because people have told me. And obviously, you support the channel in getting us closer to that goal of 70k. So make sure you do hit the subscribe button, bell notification as well to be notified of all the content coming up. And just out of sheer politeness, just give the video a like because you love it anyway. And you think United are going to win the league. Rashford, Bruno Garnacho, Maguire, Lindesoft, get rid, says Adrian. Who will go near Rashford the way he's playing and the contract he's on? Like, honestly, I was listening on the radio the other day regarding Rashford, Marta, and I was listening to Chelsea fans, I was listening to Spurs fans, and the question was put across on a show. Would you take Marcus Rashford in January? And just it's not going to happen. But would you take? Oh yes, 100%. Yes, 100%. Every single fan, every single opposition fan, sees something in Marcus Rashford. When you are watching your own team, you see things differently. You understand. We all moan about pundits who haven't got a clue. We're not fully invested. Sorry, we're not watching every other team. Like, we have a knowledge of everything going on, and a lot of us do watch all the other teams as well. But these pundits have to come across so many different teams and watch different clubs, and obviously opposition fans don't watch United like we do, in depth like we do, and with our full investment into the team. And when you look at that, there is someone there that will take Rashford. There are teams there that feel like they will just look back on the glory years of Marcus Rashford, of which there has been just a few. But he just has these moments which make him stand out and still look a little bit relevant, Marcus Rashford. And that's how I think a lot of opposition or people from the outside of Manchester United look at him. Like, people say he would do a job at City. Like Arsenal, he would do a great job at Arsenal. Go. See you later. And people will say, you can't sell him to a rival. You can't do this with these players. Look at yourselves, first of all. Look at what's working for you as a team and as a club. Is it working? Let's eliminate that problem first and then worry about everything else past that. You have to look after United. You have to look after what's right for you and the current setup at the club, and as in Ruben Amorim, what he wants, how he wants to play. If them players aren't working, we can't be worrying about where he's going to go. We can't be worrying about giving a player to a so-called rival anymore. We're not in that position. We're not good enough. We're at a level where we need to make really harsh and fully committed decisions within transfers and getting rid of players. We cannot be waiting around worrying about what he might do at another football club. We cannot do this anymore. We're not at that level. We can be, and we can work our way back up to that, but we are nowhere near. Are you honestly worried about what Marcus Rashford might do at another football club if he stayed in the country? I don't think he would anyway. I think he would go abroad, personally, because, like I said, as much as I don't really rate Rashford, I still feel like he wouldn't want to play for any other club in England because he is a Man United supporter. But these are the decisions that Sir Jim Ratcliffe will have to make if he is going to stick to his idea of taking Manchester United forward and winning the league in 2028. Look, Bruno Fernandes is not going to lift that Premier League trophy at Manchester United. Neither is Marcus Rashford. Neither are the other 6 players that we just talked about. They're not. They're not even going to be here, I don't think, in the next 2 years. And obviously the club have come out and said we want to win the league by 2028. How quickly can you get us to there? How quickly can you get Manchester United there? Are the players in the current squad good enough to get you there? No is the answer, clearly, because that's where we are in the league. And they've shown that over years that it isn't something that is within them to consistently even challenge for the top 4, let alone challenge for a title. So they have to go. It's the only way. Rashford, Bruno, Garnacho, Maguire, Lindesoft, get rid. Who will get near Rashford's contract? We just read them ones out. So Evans has a roster spot if he wants it. To me, his wages are really low and he is still quality, shockingly. So, Yeah, he has been a servant. He really has. He has been a servant for Manchester United. You've got to give Evans his flowers, give him his credits. He has been brilliant in that period, but he's 37 going into next season. Surely it's just time to say thank you, move forward. Tom is in the chat. I'd be open to selling Garnacho in the next couple of years once his stock has gone up. I fear he will become volatile and disruptive in the squad. His arrogance is clearly an issue for him. At 19, do you reckon he could turn it around? That's the question I would ask. Could Ruben get into him? Because he's still a teenager. He's got a lot to learn. He's just become a father, obviously, as well. So maybe we've got some maturity to come from him. And maybe he will learn from the likes of Ahmad. He's got good people around him. That's all I would say with Garnacho. I think likes of Mainu, head screwed on, Højlund, Ahmad, who's been there before. If there's anyone to learn off, I would just say look at Ahmad. Look at the patience that he's had to endure at his time at Manchester United. And everybody's starting ahead of him. Everybody who has been underperforming start ahead of him. Mistreatment. I feel like there's good people around Garnacho for him to be turned around yet. The only players bringing in a decent amount of money for the Bucks are academy players, period. That's how Chelsea financed a lot of their transfers. They sold academy lads for more than 300 million. Also selling the hotel and also selling the women's team, I think, was it, as well, in that loophole as well for Chelsea. Thanks for that, Shannon. You did do a few other things as well to make money and balance financial fair play. But Chelsea are the best at selling academy players. That is a fact. Them and Manchester City do it very, very well. United are starting to build on their academy, and maybe there is a bit more money in that. I would like to see them actually do a job for United's first team first of all, and then we can look at maybe making money if it's not happened. But yes, I feel like what we did with Cambuala, getting decent money for him, having not played a lot, that's how United need to move forward now. They need to be, like, I think, a bit more cutthroat. Like, is this academy player going to make it? Let's max out on this player then. We have got a ton of talent coming through, and that sounds brutal. It does. But they're not all going to make it. We know that. There is a team there in the under-18s that are still unbeaten, doing absolutely brilliantly. But they're not all going to make it. It's like the under-21s last night. Again, Ennis, I did a video on him when we watched him play at Accrington in the international break. And he scored again last-minute winner. That's 4 in 2 games for him. Players like him at 19 right now, you'd expect them to be coming through. If they're not, then they need to be sold, and sold at a decent price. There'll be teams that will take these players. There will be teams that take them. And United need to tap into the talent that we've got there to make money and balance the books as well. We do have a super chat in from the latest mod on Forever United TV. You got Roz. Matt seems to have taken Dalot's spot. That's being said, they can get 20 or 30 for Dalot in the market. I also think Shaw goes for 20 or so. I get it. I get what you're saying, you got Roz. And welcome to the mods crew as well, my friend. I feel Shaw, at the age he is, the injury issues, I don't think you're getting 20 million for him. Honestly, I just see Shaw seeing his time out. I don't think anyone's going to buy him. I don't. I think Amrin will utilise him. I think he will get more out of him the best he can. But still, I feel like his time is going to finish at Manchester United. I don't think... He may go somewhere else, but I don't think United will be getting money. I see Shaw, when his contract runs out, in a similar situation to what Maguire and Lindelof are right now. I think he will just see out his contract personally. Unless he wants to be really cutthroat, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and try and get a little bit of money for him as well. We'll see. We'll see. But I doubt it. Dalot is an interesting one. Madrid have been looking at Dalot. They do want fullback as well, but it's now been stated that they have made their intentions clear. They will be approaching Trent with a contract in January, and it does look like Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to be going to Real Madrid now. So in terms of right-back situation at Real Madrid, that's going to be covered. It looks like Trent's going there. So Dalot's options are, again, and his form is not really that good. Will anyone come in for him? That's the question you've got to ask. And that's the important thing in all of this. It's like this next 6 months is important for them and their own careers. Never mind staying at United, but getting that move to a better club. because United will already be moving pieces into place to find out where best fits some of these players. And it's up to these players now to do more. I think all of these noises coming out and all of the rumours coming out and reports about Sir Jim Ratcliffe being brutal and the players are going to suffer as well. No one's getting new contracts. These players now need to start thinking of themselves and start trying to find a way of getting better deals going past Manchester United, moving on in the summer. Who is going to want to take them if they're not performing? This is where agents will come into it as well and start saying to these players, we need to start cementing a place in this side, even if it means we're being sold in the summer. It means we're going to get a better deal. I think they have made a statement, Ineos, in a way, but there's a bigger one still to come. And it's all down to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I am going to finish the show there. That was it for this morning. You're completely up to date. There is more content coming up later. I have commitments this morning. Alfie's playing football, so I do have to shoot across and get that done. Just want to say a massive thank you again to everybody, all the new subscribers that are on board on Forever United TV. Thank you so much. Obviously, you're going towards this goal that we are trying to hit before the end of the year. Just really appreciate all of your feedback, comments, likes, and anyone who has just jumped on board and subscribed as well. Thank you. I will be back later. Please do hit the like button on the way out. Check out the other content that's up on the channel as well. It's on your screen now. And I will see you all later. Have a fantastic Saturday, everybody, and enjoy the football today. Excited. Match day's back.